Hello, my coolest of kids. How has everyone been doing the last couple weeks? Now, today it is Monday morning before I head off to work yet again. Still getting used to that new schedule, which actually leads me into my apologizing again for not being around and doing posts. Not posting videos. I am still around. I am still checking out your guys' material. I am still available through emails. I will get back to you as at least about 10, 15 you still do. Still message me and ask for advice and talk back and forth and such. I do still pop in and see the live streams and everything. But I've been getting used to this new shift, even though I'm not on trips anymore. It's been pretty long, you know. Honestly, it's been rough. And as well, I know some people, you all probably disagree, but I do deer hunt, and that's that time of year. So, days I have off, I go out deer hunting with my father and my friends and his friends, and been dealing with a lot of the stuff around the house. And as you can see, here in southern New Hampshire, in the last week, the whole world has switched. It went from fall weather a little bit, because we were in summer mode until, mid-October. Then it fell right off. And in the past week or so, dead of winter style. We got snow on the ground everywhere, and it is bitter cold out. But your buddy Rob, I've been real busy, but I've been real good as well. And I'm happy. Things have, my life is in a good rhythm. Things are changing, and I might actually make some changes back to the way they were before. But I'm living, I'm learning, and I'm making strides and keeping myself, in tune and in key with my surroundings and, thinking towards where I am and the path that I want to go down. The paths aren't necessarily changing, but I've kind of sidestepped a few times and zigzagged around a little bit, but still maintained staying a part of the silver community because you guys are still a keystone in my life. Yes, I'm not putting up as many videos right now, but I promise you I will, I'll get back on that horse and be posting up on there, and I'll be in some more live streams once I get, this rhythm of life a little bit more down. I've honestly been busy, but all in good ways. I did actually have an experience happen the other day that I wanted to be able to share with you guys, so, that's what I'm going to do right now. Now, I live in a small town outside of a small city. I work in the small city, and it's not bad. I don't mind telling you that. I work in Keene, New Hampshire, which is in a very southern little tip of New Hampshire. And, I drive back to another small town where I live. Now, just last 2 weeks, about 2 weeks ago, there was a news article about a young man who had actually committed, he had robbed from a store, one of the local grocery stores, and he'd been locked up, and he was in the newspaper and everything. He didn't hold anybody up, he didn't do anything horrible, nothing else like that. But when I saw the picture, and many of the people in the area saw the picture, because this is a small area, we all recognized him as one of the local homeless people. And you think to yourself like, oh man, homeless, I'm part of the problem, part of this, part of that, part of everything else. And everybody's guilty of it. You think that way, you're like, well, part of the problem right there. Part of the problem right there. And then just the other day, I see somebody hitchhiking from the small city that I work in back towards the town that I live in. And lo and behold, I get close and it's him. It's that young man. Obviously, he didn't stay in jail or something, or he probably, just got a slap on the hand and, he's out. Well, I pull over because, what the heck. And plus, I have a license to carry, so he doesn't want to mess with Mr. Rob. Even though I have a nice, bright, shiny, big smile on my face, I do carry. So, I go and I pick up this young man. And hey buddy, how are you? And he recognizes me. He actually went to high school with my younger sister. So he at least mildly knows me. Hey, I remember you. Hey Rob, how's life, everything? We start talking and everything. And then I remember my sister actually telling me that he was, not to be rude or anything, a little bit slow. He was in the remedial classes and, as not mentally challenged, but he was, not a fully functioning portion of society. And he's about 19 to 20 now. And, I come to find out, it was actually, it was actually hard to get things out of him, because I wasn't trying to be nosy and make him feel bad or anything like that, but I was just curious about his life and what was been going on. I was like, I saw you in the paper the other day, that's really bad, I feel I feel for you. You know, it sucks that you had to go that low to be able to do it, do something like that. And I go, well, where am I bringing you? I see you're going back towards my house, and whatever. And well, they actually, when he got out from the local jail that we have, which is about a town over, they gave him a ride to basically to Keene, where the homeless shelter area is, and left him there. So he went inside to go to try to check in and everything else. And lo and behold, it's full there. Okay. So this, yes, he did commit a crime, and he's messed everything up, and he doesn't have a place to live now. But in Keene, they're full. So they set him up in Swansea at the homeless shelter. Now, this young man doesn't have any transportation, was just barely hanging on to the job that he had, and now was living like 10 miles away into another town. Now, this sounds kind of the same as another story that I've told you guys before that I'd actually read about. Not exactly the same, but... So this young man is trying to get himself back on his feet, and come to find out, the only thing he robbed at that store was food. Okay? And the only reason that he was homeless was because he grew out of what we would call the system. He was actually a foster child in high school, and I didn't know that part. This is actually from me stopping and actually talking with this kid outside of the homeless shelter in the town that I live in. And I was curious at this point, because you can tell just by speaking with him, he was just a step behind. He's a little slow, a little problem. But he grew out of the system, but wasn't diagnosed with enough problems in order to be helped in the long run. He has no actual family around here. He grew up in the system. He hit 18, and the system he got lost in. He lost his medical eventually. He actually was, I guess he was supposed to go to some secondary school. It was like a Job Corps kind of thing. Not college, but like a Job Corps that would teach him a set task and thing to be able to do, and then help him find a job. Well, he wasn't able to pass the classes, so he got kicked out of that. So he lost his health insurance. So he wasn't able to go see the therapist that he'd been seeing, I guess, for all of, a very bad, rough childhood and, going through the system and everything. And at the same time, he had gotten in trouble the first time for the assault. He actually got in a fight with somebody, which got him kicked out of the, kind of like a hostel thing that we have around here. It's basically a flop house, what you call it. A bunch of people basically get together, pay rent, and, you sleep on the couch, sleep on the floor, sleep wherever. Got him kicked out of there by the landlord. Now he's homeless. And the reason we've been seeing him in the newspaper and everything else for the last year and a half, is he had turned 18, and everything just went straight downhill on him. He only stole food from that place because he had no money, because he couldn't get on the food stamps, and he can't find a job because he's not joking around. He really is a little slow, and he has the problems, but he's that gap, he's that hole, he's that minority that everyone, you look at it and you see him, and immediately people are going to look down on him. He looks worn out, he looks bad, he looks like he does drugs, but this young man, he does not do drugs. He is he is the people that need some help, when other people are getting help that don't need it. He has nothing, no one, nothing, and there's nothing I can do for the young man either. He lost his job. That's why, I didn't even tell you guys that. He's walking back from being told that he lost his job, from being locked up for a week. He had just been hanging on to his job, and they asked him how he was getting back and forth, and he told them walking, and apparently that wasn't good enough, so they let him go on the spot. And I actually literally picked him up on the walk back. And, I think, honestly, if this man actually had more of a mental capacity, he would be on a suicidal level, and I don't even know how he does it. I don't know how he copes with it. Maybe it's because he doesn't have to cope with it, because his mental capacity is lower than the average person. But he's the hole, he's the gap, he's the people that if you didn't know any better, he looks like he's a homeless guy who robs and doesn't take care of himself and just is a troublemaking bad person. But after finding out all these different things, he was a child who was in a foster home growing up, who was, behind and left behind in school, and then left behind for his education, which made him lose his job, which, has him now literally on stealing food, which got him down into another hole. He fell down into the cellar and then threw down through the hole in the cellar down farther. And it just, this isn't a happy story. This isn't a happy ending. This breaks your heart. And I told him that, I get out of work now, and I said, I can pick you up on my way through as I'm driving through. And he's like, you don't need to. I don't have a job anymore. I'm just going to be here. And I was like, you have food or anything? And he says they take them into Keene once a day to actually go to the community, shelter place where the food is. And they give them food. And then they drive them back, and that's his life right now. And going to I guess he has a court date pretty soon, so he could be getting locked up, which might actually be his best choice, is to go to jail, because if you get arrested around here, when you get out, they put you in a halfway house and make you find a job. So this young man's best chance is getting locked up when he goes to court. Don't judge people until you know their story, until you've seen what they're going through, until you're able to understand who they are as a person. Don't just judge what you hear on the news or what you hear from people around. Judge for yourself. Positive vibes for a positive life. Make sure you're always portraying the best possible version of yourself, not only to everyone around you, but also by staying true to yourself. We're all equal. Have a great day.